Hello my loyal companions, welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going to have a look at Kestrel and I'm going to talk about whether I think she's going to be meta within Rouge Company. I'm going to do this in the context of Strikeout, Demolition, Ranked and the competitive scene to get a good overview of where I think she's going to place within the game. Of course I want to know your thoughts on Kestrel, so let me know down in the comments below. And if you do go on to enjoy the video or you just want to see daily, educational Rouge Company content, make sure you drop a like and subscribe to the channel. But for now, let's get into it. So when I played Kestrel on the PTS server a few weeks ago, I definitely thought she was underwhelming, as much as the community did. She did get a small buff, but more than that, I think that just her playing in the actual game and having more playtime on her, people are starting to understand that actually she's pretty good. She's not necessarily a really complicated rogue that takes a lot to get used to, but that doesn't mean that she isn't strong in what she does. Very similar to Ronin, Ronin has a very particular set of playstyles that really benefit her to be adaptable into the game, and Kestrel almost fits that mold as well. Personally, of the two weapons, the Riptide and the Knight, the Riptide for me is the one that definitely is the hitter. Not only does it deal great damage and can honestly shred with its own fire rate, its range is pretty good as well, and if you can manage that bit of vertical recoil, it's pretty good because there's not much bloom to go with it. I definitely would say if you're running Kestrel that the Riptide is the way to go. I think the Knight can deal good damage, but it's just not a great SMG compared to other ones. I've been outgunned by it from other SMGs many times, and so I just don't think it's worth it. As for the Riptide though, it's actually not too bad up close either. Its hip-fire pattern is not the best, but if you learn to manage it, it's not too bad either. It just takes a little bit of getting used to. What really benefits Kestrel though in terms of her equipment is going to be that bounce grenade, which I think a lot of people didn't think would be amazing, but now that we've sort of explored more angles and more of the maps, we see that it's a bit deadly. Being able to sink that grenade into locations you wouldn't normally be able to, and because of the very short fuse time after it bounces off the wall, it's actually really good, and I would definitely be doing a 10 best bounce grenade spot video for you guys, so you can learn some cheeky ones that we're using to sort of get a nice few kills. But all in all, that bounce grenade can be really good. I find it's much more effective if you're good with it than a regular grenade, because you don't have to worry about cook time, you just have to get the right angle for the bounce and get the right diffuse time there when it hits it. She also has the adrenaline shot, which I think is one of the best pieces of equipment in the game, especially if you're a duelist frag out rogue, which Kestrel is kind of designed to be. She's meant to be up there in the action, getting kills and bouncing between targets, and the adrenaline shot allows her to do this. One other part of her kit that allows her to do this is the resupply perk, which is brand new. If you don't know what it does, it means that when you kill somebody, they drop a little box which you can go pick up, and it will resupply all of your gadgets. That means you get an extra bounce grenade, it means you get an extra adrenaline shot, and you can continue to move through targets with the updated equipment. Personally, I find that is a little bit better in Strikeout due to the pacing of the game, but it does have its place in Demolition as well. Overall though, her kit in terms of all that is pretty good, but it's the ability and the passive that are really going to shine for her in some of the different game modes. Let's talk about the passive, which obviously allows her to gain an extra $1,000 per down. And if you haven't played her in Strikeout yet, you'll see how much impact that really has. You're ending every single round pretty much, as long as you're fragging out a little bit, on $20,000, $30,000. And that is really good. I'm always able to buy as much as I want pretty much between the rounds, and I'm far more equipped than my opponents as I go into it, which really allows this sort of snowball effect of just getting better and better and rolling through the team. In Demolition, it does help her secure a little bit more equipment as well and some upgrades, but again, due to the limited amount of downs you're able to get in Demolition as opposed to Strikeout, it's not as effective. So Strikeout is really where that passive shines, and honestly, people have been calling for it to be reduced, because 1,000 per down, especially when you're fragging out and getting between 8 and 14 downs a round, is massive. So you do definitely want to probably be taking that back a little bit, maybe to 500. Again, let me know what you think about that in the comments. Do you think it should be dropped down to 500 extra per down, or do you think 1,000 is fair? Now though, we'll talk about her main ability, Halo Drones, which obviously is the bit that people were feeling was really underwhelming back in the PTS. It did get a 50% blast radius increase when it went onto live servers, and now feels really good, honestly. It's not necessarily the easiest to hit all the time, especially when targets are moving really fast, but if you use it in the right situations, it can be absolutely deadly. I'll go over some of the situations now where I think she's pretty good with this ult, but I'll go over more and in more depth in my Kestrel guide. But here are some of the cheeky ones that we've been using. The first one is when you're being rushed by a team, especially in Demolition when they're stacking and rushing a site. If you have a Kestrel just running around a corner, when they rush onto her, it's just as good as having a C4, except it thirsts people. Because you shoot 5 drones down, it kills them, knocks them, and will continue to battle them down to thirst them as well. Rather than a lot of ults and a lot of explosives, which will just get you that first down, this has the thirst potential as well, and that is really important in Demolition, where revives are so clutch. Other situations where we've been using it is behind boxes, where we know someone is right in behind a corner. Using it to blow them up and thirst them as well is really useful, and again has come in a lot of use, and it's probably the main use of Kestrel's ult. I find there's lots of situations where you can use that ult and use it really effectively. It feels like it's better in Demolition, where people's movement and pacing is a little bit slower than Strikeout, so it's a little bit easier to predict and hit, but it's still good in Strikeout, and you can still get some cheeky angles, especially when people are reviving, to not only thirst the revive, but also kill and thirst the person trying to revive. So all in all, my general opinions of Kestrel is that she's pretty strong, but where does that put her within the meta? Is she a good enough rogue for Demolition, ranked, and comp? Or is she just this Strikeout fragger? Well, let's talk about Strikeout first, where I'm going to say she absolutely excels. I think her passive giving her extra money, and just the nature of resupply and bouncing between target and target, like all other duelists, she really does shine in Strikeout. I've absolutely loved playing her in this game mode. I think she's fun. I think she bounces between people really well. And I think if you're looking to pick her up anywhere and learn how Strikeout is the way, because you're going to earn so much money as long as you're a good enough shot, and you'll be in so much action that you'll learn the guns really quickly, and you'll feel comfortable with them. I think the Riptide just excels in Strikeout as well. Just the fast pacing of it and the fast fire rate of the weapon will just burn through people. In terms of Demolition, this is where I was quite undecided. I didn't think she was very good upon release and looking and thinking about her kit, but after playing her in some scrims and playing her in some other games and just playing her in some sort of solo queue Demolition matches, I think she's pretty good and she can really help carry a team. The reason for it is kind of what I was talking about before, and that is that Demolition requires you to be able to kill and thirst people really quickly, and her ability gets this, and the bounce grenade can catch people off guard so easily. Her weapons are also great for all the ranges, as I keep saying, and that really does allow her to do well in certain positions across Demolition maps, holding any kind of angle and being really adaptable for your team. That then does mean she's going to be pretty good for ranked as well, but I do think she suffers when she doesn't have team communication. And the reason for this is because she's great at getting picks, she's great at getting full kills, but you kind of need teams to sort of follow up on that and move positions. Kestrel is very much almost like a frontliner, but not a tanky one. She doesn't have tenacity, she doesn't have headstrong, she doesn't really have any type of survivability, so she's just there to gain quick intel, get a pick off it, and try and deal as much damage as possible before she goes down, and that's what we're kind of seeing. I even in one scrim had somebody run up to us behind a box and just ult us, including themselves, and got 2 downs because of it, traded their life for it, but sort of did the play that they were meant to do, and really took away our retake potential, which is the people who they were able to kill. So in ranked, I think she's good. I think if you're very solo orientated and you're mindful of your team, I think she's worth it. But I think she does benefit from having a team on communications more, so they can follow up on your plays that you're trying to do. Where we then go into the competitive scene though, I think because of that team communication aspect, I think she's really good. I am surprised if we will not see Kestrel coming out in the 10k qualifiers and the 10k main event, assuming nothing changes with her in that time. We're running her in scrims, and honestly, we're finding great angles to get that ability off. We're finding great positions to hold it. For example, if someone goes across a zip line early on in the game, you can get a bounce grenade there quicker than you can cook a frag grenade, and you can kill lots of people. You can use the ability as soon as they get off it, and if they put themselves in vulnerable positions, that ability punishes them more than anything else in the game. She can also work into both an attack comp or a defense comp, whether you're going for the heavy breach with the attack to clear positions or guard the bomb on potential retakes, or whether you're playing it defensively to hold an angle, bait people in, and use the ult to pick a few of them. She's actually got a really solid place in the game, and you should definitely be trying out. Again, the Riptide is the optimal weapon in my opinion, and the bounce grenade is almost a definite first buy because of how strong it can be when you learn how to throw it. That being said though guys, let me know in the comments what you think and whether you agree with what I've said. Do you think she's great in Strikeout or not? Do you think we'll see her in competitive play or not? Let me know down in the comments below. Okay then guys, that takes us to the end of the video, and if you did enjoy, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel. You can also come follow me on twitch.tv/RADTHARGAMING to see live gameplay commentaries, guides, Q&As, and playing with viewers. All the links you're going to need are down in the description below, but for now guys, I hope you have a fantastic day. And remember, be loyal, be brave, be relentless, and I'll catch you in the next video.